Right, so hey everyone and welcome back to another budget photography video. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about one of these. This is an ND filter, a neutral density filter. And what it basically is sunglasses for your camera lens. Now, this one in particular is a variable ND, which means it can have a lot of light going in and you can make it very, very dark, just like that. See? You can probably not even see me. I don't know. Let's turn it to its darkest setting, just before. Just like that. ND filters in general are primarily used by photographers that want long exposures, as I've shown previously on this channel. They can also be used by cinematographers and vloggers for the same exact reason, to stop a certain amount of light from getting into the camera, which means that you can have a shallower depth of field so that your background can be blurred out. So this variable ND filter is from GOBE or GOBE or whatever, however you pronounce it. GOBE. As I said, it is a variable ND, which means that it can go from that to that. Now, there are some inherent problems with having a variable ND over a static, non-movable ND filter. The main problem of having a variable ND is because you have two filters overlapping and you get what's called crossing. So literally the filters have crossed and you get a big kind of really rather ugly crossover with your image. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to attach this to my lens. So I don't know if you guys will be able to see the crossing going on the lens as I swivel around and get darker and lighter. But you do get some crossing, and if this didn't work, then I'll put some B-roll where I can see it's actually working, because I haven't got a monitor to watch what's actually going on. So all I know is that I'm in frame and in focus. Well, at least I should be in frame and in focus because I focused it manually. So that is the main problem of having a variable ND filter, but there is an upside to that. So that way you can save room in your camera bag, and they can in some cases be cheaper. This one from GOBE I picked up for about £30, and the image quality is actually pretty good. It doesn't really dull down the images or the colors that much. Now, if you spend more on a variable ND, the better quality it will be, such as the Peter McKinnon one from Polar Pro. This one, for the price, is actually pretty good, especially if you've got a 77mm, which is exactly what I had. So trying to find a good ND filter for this kind of sized lens is pretty hard for me, especially at a reasonable price, because I don't want to spend too much money on a filter because I don't really use it that much. So for me, sacrificing a little bit of image quality is okay. I'm happy to sacrifice a little bit of colouring that I can add back, or a little bit of sharpness that again I can add back if I need to. So the GOBE 77mm variable ND is worth the money. So to be fair, there's not really much to say about this. It's an ND filter. They're not really exciting. They're not really expensive unless you want excellent image quality. You can pick them up quite cheap, but don't go with the cheapest one you can find, because that will be just horrible. Absolutely horrible. I had some ND filters when I first started from Newer, and they were some of the worst filters I've used. And the thing is, they weren't even variable. They were just horrible filters. Horrible filters. Although, going back to the GOBE filter, or GOBE, it does come in a nice, really rather big case. And there's not really much room for it to move around though. It's nice and padded. It's quite a strong case. It has to be unscrewed and lifted to be taken out. And then you do also have padding within. I look like Mickey Mouse. You do also have padding within both sides of the lid and the bottom of the case. so that when you place your filter in and do up the lid, again, it's a screw top. There is no shake up and down. There is shake side to side. I wish it wouldn't do that, but at least there's no shake up and down. And it seems like a fairly substantially strong-ish case. Like, you could probably drop this case. Not that I would recommend testing it, but you could probably drop test this and the filter might survive. So, do I recommend the GOBE 77mm variable ND? Yes, I do. It is good value for money and you are not sacrificing much image quality. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video and I'll see you in the next.